order. That's first start. We will call the roll.
Eva Budd.
Harrison Cooper.
Colin Donaldson. Carl Hector.
Again, I'm Anthony Tampone. Also here is Casey Fassett, our zoning enforcement officer, our attorney, Matt Jankowski, and our clerk, Amy. For our first item, we will review the minutes from our September 11th meeting. Did everyone have a moment to take a look at the minutes? I reviewed them. I didn't see anything there, but you know, you're usually the sharpest eye. I don't need our control else. And I have a copy of anybody to look at them, but it's everybody feels good about it, then I'm looking to set the minutes. If anybody wants to make one. Yeah.
You're making a motion?
You're making-
Motion to.
Okay, all right. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. It's not working. There you go. All in favor? All right, so, before we get into, we got a lot of people here, so I'm going to make a quick statement about how the zoning board of appeals works and what we're going to do tonight. We have a few items on the agenda. Before each item, the public will have a moment to speak. We ask that you speak to the board as a whole, not members individually. And we will have the applicant describe the project that they are looking to in their application. Then we will have a moment the board will ask some questions if there's a need to from the applicant. Then we will close the hearing and then we will deliberate and make a decision or not. There's a lot of people here tonight. If you have spoken or submitted something in writing, then please either, refrain from speaking or keep your things, your comments brief, for in fair time. I know and gotta get on that. For anyone else that hasn't silenced their phones, please do so now. All right. First is new business on the agenda. We have 162 Fairview Avenue. We have someone representing the applicant or the applicant themselves here.
I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. You want to come up here and.
It's fine, leave it.
Take my motion. All right. Okay. Yeah. It happens technically. Yeah. Right. And so. It's the wrong folder. You are Mr. Cochis? Cochis?
Conscious.
All right. Describe to us, if you will, why you're here.
I was given a notice that I had the wrong kind of vehicle on my property. Vehicle, I'm looking to be able to keep them there. They've been there for over 40 years. Same house I've lived in for 70 years. We've had trailers in and out all that time. The definition is between a transport trailer and a storage trailer. These are all transport trailers, sitting on a storage trailer.
So just to clarify, you you are contesting the zoning enforcement officer's, definition of a trailer as it applies to the code? Or-
Actually, he's not the one who made the complaint. That person's been relieved of their duties in this matter.
Anything that came from the building department will.
Okay,
come from
I just wanted to
the
clarify. He's the one who made the complaint. It's not a neighbor, or anybody made the complaint. That's what I point.
Okay, so this isn't a variance request, this is your seeking and you're appealing the determination of classifying these vehicle haulers as trailers under a code.
They're calling it, storage. They're not. They're travel trailers. They're transport trailers. They're all registered. New York State, they're mobile. They're not fixed on a location. They're used to transport other New York State registered vehicles, including but not limited to motorcycles, 2 and 3 wheelers, snowmobiles, ATVs, 4 and 6 wheelers, cars, dirt bikes, lawn tractors, and boats. I liken them to be similar to the boat trailer where you use the boat trailer to put the boat in. The trailer might sit till October from April, and you use it to get the boat out. The clearly marked transport trailers, I have photos. The area around where they are parked is a double lot, city of Kingston. Like I said, where I've been living since I was born. The area around it is surrounded by several dozen heavily wooded acres to the south and east, wooden fence to the north, the garage building, commercial property, and the specially constructed metal and composite privacy gate to the west, during privacy to the parking area. In reference to my neighbors receiving letters from the zoning board, I've spoken to all recipients and also some who did not receive a letter. To quote the most verbal, do whatever he wants in his yard, front, side, or back, until his things are in my front yard. I could not care less. The general consensus was that it's Rick's property, leave Rick alone. None of the aforementioned cared to attend this meeting. It should be noted that none of my neighbors initiated this complaint. The city employee could have since been relieved of his duties regarding this matter. I'm a senior disabled citizen, as is my wife. She's had scoliosis since a child, exacerbated by several falls and childbearing. She can barely walk and needs a pop-up chair. I have broken most of the major bones in my body, some twice below the waist. I have a total hip replacement on the right side of my pelvis, a 6-inch titanium bolt holds the left side together, 2 broken tibias and a 2-inch screw in my ankle. I have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, Lyme disease, and I have had COVID. I'm on several types of medication, very expensive. There's also another matter in front of the board. You want me to address that this time too? You just want to go to one?
On your application, we have, we can certainly discuss it, but we have simply the complaint about trailers on the,
Okay,
is there, I mean, if there is something else that is directly adjacent to that, we might be able to also look at it at the same time. Otherwise, you may have to submit a second application.
The second one is the fence issue?
yes,
Um,
actually, indeed.
I'm I mean, that would be an interpretation of the fence. Were you issued a citation about the fence?
Yes.
Or- okay,
The gate.
yeah.
You're appealing that determination as well.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we have that's not in this application.
I believe there was supplemental paperwork that was.
Yeah, I mean, there is there, I see that there's a,
I would say with.
yeah. Yeah,
So
and that's what I was looking for, now.
do all.
Okay. Yes.
That's not.
All right, we are going to open the public hearing on this matter to the public. You'll still be able to speak afterwards. Can I get a motion to open a public hearing from someone?
I'll make a motion to open a public hearing.
Is anyone here to speak on this? Oh, all in favor? Yeah. Is anyone here to speak on this application?
Not that I know.
If you would like to state your name for the record, you can.
My name is Daniel Cantor, and I just have a little bit of insight on this matter potentially. John lives next door to a property that's for Fairview that the city for many, many years. It was literally falling down because it's now been torn down. But it's my strong feeling that he has gone through more than enough due to the city's lack of care for their own vacant and properties. He has spent many years watching over that property, taking care of their own law enforcement when people broke in, all that relief. You let him have the strength.
Thank you.
You're welcome, John.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing no other speakers, we will flow, actually, I'm not sure exactly what time we opened that, but probably about 3 minutes ago, so I'll say 6:10. And it is now 6:13, and we will close the public meeting. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion to close the public meeting.
Thank you. And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All right, carried. And, all right, so, does anyone on the board have, any questions for the applicant? It looks like we are, I think what we're gonna end up having to do is maybe table this and get clarification on exactly what he wants. This is brought to us as a use variance, and it doesn't seem to be that that's what he's looking for.
Well,
You
the
want
definition is
clarification?
basically a storage trailer and a travel trailer.
Yeah, so you want some interpretation of you want us to interpret, well, that, and you also have the issue of the fence.
Correct.
Yes, so you're looking for
We
us
also
to
have an issue of noxious plants.
just elaborate?
Just a little background, since this fiasco started with the name Barry Lee, started out with the transport trailers, went ahead, put the fence up, said this, check to make sure it said plastic, it's not plastic, it's wood composite with fiberglass resin. I spent several $100s on it, I spent a couple of weeks putting it up. When the building person came, they looked at it, said, looks good. 2 days later, I get a notice saying that I have noxious plants. I call up and I said, what's a noxious plant? Poison sumac. Well, I don't have poison sumac. I have ornamental sumac, which is smooth sumac, not poison sumac. Poison sumac has pink stems and white berries. My plant do not.
Is there, did you get a violation for
Doesn't
that?
sound like that violation has anything to do with the zoning code.
Yeah,
That sounds like it's a property maintenance code issue, so that's.
I guess I don't.
ZBA would be
I
looking
didn't
at
see
it.
that in.
Okay, so we're just talking about termination status with their, but that is a zoning code, and if you're feeling, terminations of code enforcement.
Oh, okay, so where's the other one?
They can, they're, upheld those determinations,
So talk to you about this.
the ZBA.
Yeah.
Contact the building department, but you have very everything here, so keep what, we're discussing limited.
Well, I
to-
brought that up this report, that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Okay.
here about the zoning violations. So that has to do with the two codes that were cited, the one pertaining to the trailers and the other pertaining to the.
Okay, So what happened was it's building the fence. So that fence looked fine. Then I get notes 2 days later about the plants.
Well,
Then,
we're gonna forget about the
okay,
plan.
I know,
So-
but this just shows the progression. So when I called about the plants, then the fence came up.
Mhm.
And I said, well, the fence is not plastic, that's what it calls for. It's wood composite, hourglass resin, cost me several $100s. It's steel reinforced, and it is a true privacy thing so that no one could complain about the trail. Because quite frankly, you can't see,
I don't see any photos or anything from.
Right here.
Uh,
Is that for the ZBA?
this is for, to show you the fence.
yeah,
Do you have any other information you submitted to the building department pertaining to the fence?
Yes, I did.
There's a receipt, it looked like, but it didn't make it into my book.
It says composite on it, not plastic, if you look very close.
is that not uploaded into the thing? I didn't see that.
I saw that.
You're only a code violation or opposed appealing the zoning code if it's composite.
I don't, or is it, what kind of section? I don't actually have any.
Oh, sorry, it is in the zoning code, the
Yeah.
plastic
Yeah.
slab.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
can't
so that's
really,
where- So basically, he's appealing a determination. The determination is that the materials of the fence are then the code, and we look at that and say either that determination was correct and or that determination
Yeah,
was not correct. And the materials are not banned by the code.
yeah,
got it.
it's, we're gonna
So
interpret.
it sounds
So we
like
do-
that information, if we do have,
You have the receipt.
Be right there. Shit, we submitted it.
Yeah. It was in here.
Yeah, I don't think I printed out the receipt, but it's uploaded.
So.
I see. I see a no. See violations, I see pictures.
See you.
Right, do you see that?
No.
Okay.
We've got one, here.
Oh, is that what Amy printed?
got this.
I haven't looked at for
Okay,
it.
all right. That's not uploaded, that's why I probably don't have.
I'll go that way. If we don't. Don't give me a couple minutes, I guess.
Do we have, I need to, I guess we can still take information.
information from them at any point.
Just not the sub- just not the sub-
Yeah, public hearing.
So. It's how I'd like to.
Let's get more information.
Yeah, I think, and especially in regards to the fence, I'd like to get some more information from the building department and we can take a look at this, maybe we can adjust the fence. We can, discuss maybe briefly the interpretation of trailer. So I see in the violation here that it does state storage trailer. In the definition of codes, trailer is specifically written as any vehicle mounted on wheels, movable either by its own power or by being drawn by another vehicle and equipped to be used for living or sleeping quarters, or so to permit cooking. The term trailer shall include such vehicles if mounted on temporary or permanent foundations with the wheels removed. Trailer includes travel trailers, recreational vehicles, but does not include manufactured homes, modular homes built to building code standards. I don't believe that there is a separate, double check, that there's a separate definition for storage trailer.
I didn't see one.
Right?
There was one, camping trailer on this property, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
Is there anybody living in it?
no,
Yeah, so a camping trailer, I think, would qualify under this. So any other vehicle, that's movable would be considered just a vehicle. And so they're, even though they're trailers, they still would be considered vehicles. And the issue, which I don't see specifically laid out here in the violation, is that they are vehicles. Then there are too many of them than are allowed to be on that property.
yeah,
Yes.
No, it's too many storage vehicles.
No. If it's not if it's not a trailer, then it's a vehicle.
Right.
And that is what we're
I haven't
discussing.
been cited for too many vehicles.
Well, that's a separate thing and, you know, maybe that's something that may or may not need to happen, but if we consider that according to the code, you know, my feeling and police, you know, everyone else, you know, would chime in, is that the camping trailer, like I went by there today, there's like maybe I saw at least 6 trailers, one of which is a camper. There's also a boat, a couple of cars, like there's a lot of stuff on this property. So if they are all vehicles, right, then we need to determine whether or not that's our interpretation. You know, one of them it seems to be a trailer, right? Is that
Camper.
what? Yeah, a camper is a trailer by this definition.
Motor vehicle by New York State law.
Well, they don't interpret New York
Yeah.
State law, they interpret the zoning code.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
what, and basically right now the hearing's over, they're deliberating. So if they want additional information from you, they'll ask, but
Mhm.
please don't interrupt their deliberations while they discuss this.
Got it, thank you.
Thank you. Any other thoughts?
I mean, the code says one trailer.
Yeah,
It's just what the code says.
yeah. I know that what they're looking for is an interpretation on what trailer is, all right? Because the building department cited for multiple trailers. And you know, it's my feeling that the camper is a trailer based on this definition. The equipment trailers that are there would not be, but they are still vehicles. They are just not trailers.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, if I mean, I think we're gonna table this anyway, so we can sit on that and think about it, but like, that's my thought. If anybody else has any thought, then, you know.
Do you know what section pertains to how many vehicles?
Yeah, that's in parking, my off-street parking standards 40516. Residential uses in T3, is 3 vehicles per dwelling, per dwelling is the maximum parking. So if we were to interpret the camper as a trailer, then it would permit, my first glance of thought is that it would permit 3 vehicles plus the trailer. Yeah.
Can I speak?
We'll ask you in.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify a point.
Actually, I do notice one thing, actually, there's something else that I want to clarification from you on. There's statements in here, and you made a statement, here too, that it's a double lot, and there were some statements that it's a separate lot. As far as I can see, this is one lot. It is a double depth lot. It's a large lot, but it is one survey. It is one tax lot. Is that correct?
No,
There are more than one lot.
162 and 164.
Okay, it does not come up in the tax map.
They're side by side. How many deeds do you have and tax bills do you have? Do you have 2 separate ones for the front and the back? Or, because I just went through this whole thing myself.
I don't know.
You know, only one tax map number is.
Yeah, we only have one SBL, and as far as I can tell, there's only one lot. Like, so there's a.
It's exact same as the house that the city sold to Alex Mira next door to me.
None of that has
Exact
any
same,
irrelevance.
exact same size, and his is 2 lots.
It might be. That's irrelevant to what yours is though. So like, if you have a survey that's showing that there's 2 different lots, there are other things going on here. But if it's only one, if it's all one lot, then like there's 2 different things that we need to look at. So it's just, as far as we can tell, it's only one lot.
Employee from building department told me 1 for each lot. I have 2 lots. That's what he told me.
Okay, then if we're going to make a determination on that, we're gonna need to see surveys.
Clarification from the building
Yeah.
department as to how many lots.
Yeah,
When I pull up the SBL on the Ulster parcel viewer.
yeah, it comes up.
For that particular lot, there's one extra deed lot.
Yeah. I pulled the Mylar up too, sure. So,
Does I have to answer a variance on that too then?
how and where things are, like,
They're
That's
just
the thing
saying
that they're gonna
how
have to
they
do with the
apply the
building
code,
department.
so how many
I'm
vehicles
sorry.
you have. They're just, they need to look at whether this is only one lot or more than one lot in how they apply the code, because as he was saying, there's a certain amount of vehicles that are allowed on a single property. So if you had multiple properties, that would change the way that they would have to evaluate, the vehicles that you have.
plus a vacant lot is totally different than a lot with a house on it. So,
Would that be determined by the number of people living in the house that own the vehicle?
no.
No.
Okay.
We need any more information on the applicant? I know we're gonna get some information on the building department about the fence. You can submit us some more information about the fence. I think we have a receipt that some of us have seen, some photos of it, and we can take a look at that, next month and make a determination on that. And we'll issue a complete determination on both things, I think, next.
Do we have a date for that?
Amy, do you know the date of next month's meeting?
I will, and 10 December. I put, for some reason the 10th comes up. No, can't be the 10th.
Should be at 11. Okay. All right, I'm gonna make a motion to table this for now, all right?
Second,
All right, second, are you able to make that the next meeting? Because we have this letter from you that you
Oh.
can make a certain, is this an old letter?
I think he put this October.
Got it, I just want to make sure. Just want to make sure. I'll second.
All in favor?
I'm trying to find my agenda to write it.
second.
There it is.
Oh, you did. Thank you.
Who seconded?
Um,
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now, thank you. Yeah, sure, yeah.
But could it have noted that I have someone that said there's no problem, but we have everything?
There are minutes being taken,
Yeah.
there's a record that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anything that we said, yeah.
Okay.
The public hearing is closed, so, we'll only hear now from the building department and from you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, other people want to chime in, their time for that is over.
Got it.
All right, we are going to move on to the next item. Thank you very much.
I'm done.
You are done for now. Send in some more information about your fence and if we need anything else, either Casey or Amy will reach out. And we will,
Sorry, go ahead.
and we'll get you an answer on both of these things next month.
Is that 6 o'clock next week also?
Yes.
Okay. And what more information did you want? I thought it was pretty clear.
You brought a photo, if you want to leave photos, for us here or email them over.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the email address, sir?
What email should,
you want me to get them?
Yeah, Amy,
Yeah.
why don't you reach out? Well,
Yeah.
The clerk will reach out to you to get more information.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We have a very
We
long
have a
hearing.
long thing.
Most of these people, I believe, are here to speak in the next
Yeah.
hearing. So we got to keep things moving, but our clerk will reach out and get you the.
And you're the attorney?
And it's,
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
all right. Moving. You have 106, 122 Green Street, the AR house. The little background on this, we heard this in the June meeting. We, got a very small amount of information we were presented with it at that point in time and, had a request to rehear it by, HLPC, which voted on our July meeting, and, we are now, it got pushed a few months, and we are here to actually rehear that night. So this, and here why it's happening. Bob Ormus, Bacon, right, who's your attorney?
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
All right, good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Yes, we are again.
Yeah,
And board's pretty familiar with the background. Just to summarize it, as the board knows, in the early 1900s, this building was under quite bit of disrepair and deterioration. And my clients decided to buy it. They bought it in 1907. They hired a noted architect, Myron Teller, to help renovate it, which they did, and pretty much complete by the 1920s. But now 100 years later, and they've maintained it well over that time, but I think about 5 years ago, it was determined that the windows were really deteriorating, and I think one of the windows fell out in the street. So my clients looked in to see whether they would restore the existing windows or replace the windows. And so after going through that process and looking at what the code said and what the guidelines were at that time for the city of Kingston, they determined that they were going to replace the windows. Now, as the board knows, and it's in the record, at that time, there were the historic preservation guidelines that were posted on the city's website said that if you were going to do something to the exterior, you were not going to change the color or the appearance of the exterior, then you would need to get you would not need to get a permit. So on that basis, my clients went ahead and they bought $60,000 worth of Marvin custom wood windows. Now these windows are individual panes. They're not the pop and wood panes. They're individual panes, and I included a photograph of them in my most recent correspondence with the board. So as the board knows, the Historic Preservation Commission told them that they needed to come in for a permit. So they came in 2023 and went through a 1.5-year process before that board, and the board denied their application to replace the windows. A lawsuit was, I commenced a lawsuit, and what the court said was that the statute of limitations, it's only 30 days for that proceeding, and because I brought it 3.5 months after the board made the decision, then or the commission made the decision, then it was untimely. However, as the court noted, Judge Graff noted, it's difficult to see how replacing these windows with exact replicas is going to negatively impact the landmark district. So with that determination,
excuse me.
we returned to the commission in January, and the commission denied it again. We asked them for a hardship, and the commission denied that hardship. So that brought us to this board, which has basically appellate jurisdiction based on the same factors in the code. And that is what we discussed in June. And this board determined after a fairly lengthy evening that it would grant that application. As you know, the commission asked for a rehearing, and that's why we're here tonight. So I just wanted to very briefly go over again what the legal context of this proceeding is and what factors the board is to be guided by as per the code. There's there are 5 factors that the board is guided by. First, the effect of the proposed work in changing, destroying, or affecting the exterior features of the landmark or landmark district. So I am arguing that replacing these windows with exact replica windows, not changing, destroying, or affecting the exterior features of the Tappan House. There's no noticeable change in the windows because windows are replicas. There's no destruction, it's a replacement. And so there's no impact on the landmark district. The second factor talks about the relationship between the results of such work and the exterior architectural features of other neighboring improvements. Now, that's a little bit difficult. On one side of the street is the parking lot for the courthouse, and there's replacing these windows is not going to have any impact upon the character of the neighboring improvements. They're replicas. Nobody is going to be able to tell the difference. Windows and what's that? Oh, otherwise, other than they will be much better and be energy efficient, and the building will look quite a bit better. The third is the factors of aesthetic, historical, and architectural values and significance, architectural style, design, arrangement, texture, material, and color. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about this point over the course of this matter, and there's been allegations that these are historic windows, and that came up in the litigation. And our point was that, is there a definition in the code of what an historic window is? The code is, and this board's jurisdiction is to the exterior features. And to make sure that my client doesn't do something like paint the building orange or do something that's going to be clearly inconsistent with that area. But these windows are completely consistent with the area and the historic nature. Now, that area has changed a lot over the years, as I say in my comments. Roads, there's cars, there's obviously people live there. This is not a living museum where, like Williamsburg. The fourth factor is the special character and aesthetic interest that any structure involved adds to the area. Well, this is an important building. That's why my client bought it and preserved it. They, I believe, were the first ones to actually purchase a building in Kingston for the specific purpose of preservation. And they've held to that standard for the years they've been involved. They are not the Rockefellers. They have to do fundraising, and it'd be nice if they were the Rockefellers, but they're not. These were very expensive for their budget. These were very expensive windows. They're sitting in their basement, and they should be allowed to be put in. The second part, the fifth factor is the difficulty or impossibility of reproducing any feature or structure involved because of its design, texture, material, position, or detail. Well, again, my clients did their due diligence on this. They talked to 3 experts. We had a lot of discussions about who was an expert and who's qualified as an expert, and that came out in the court case too. There's nothing that says that the people that they hired are not experts. There's nothing in the code that defines who an expert is or what their qualifications are. So the court basically said, look, these experts are as good as the city's experts. And they made their findings, and that DAR could rely on that they could rely on that and go ahead, and they should be allowed to place these windows. So that's the context that we are in. That's the legal universe that we are operating in.
Thank you. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to ask for an opening to the public hearing portion so that we can hear from the public on this matter. Want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Everybody go second.
Second.
Yeah.
Second.
All right, it is 6:42 and the public hearing on this matter is open. Anyone wishing to speak? We didn't do a sign up list, did we?
Yes.
Oh, there is? Is there one?
It's on the table.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Did everyone that wants to speak sign up? I'm gonna call the first person and then I'll hand it out. Anybody else wants to speak? Nettie Morano? Here.
You should sign them too.
Mr. Baker, can you let? Thank you.
You can do
I don't know where it is. I think.
Yeah, the sign up sheet is floating around over here. If anyone else would like to sign up.
Okay, anybody else?
And I'm gonna need it back after every person is finished. Excuse me. Please.
Right. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you all again. My name is Nettie Morano. I'm a commissioner with the HLPC, and I just want to kind of give you an overview of the last couple of years of the efforts we made toward this application, just to give you the background from HLPC's version. HLPC's process over the last 2 years regarding the two window applications submitted by applicants to replace all 32 historic windows at 106, 122 Green Street, which is used as a member meeting house and museum, has come before our commission more than once. HLPC, as we do with every applicant that comes before us, seeks detailed information as to the intention of the owner to restore or replace parts of their historic properties. Landmark review is primarily for external projects that are visible from the public right-of-way to designated landmark buildings, and how any proposed changes will affect the structure, the neighborhood, and the community. Our job is not to prevent change. Instead, it is to manage changes and to protect the absolutely priceless architectural history of this community. Each one of us takes our job very seriously. HLPC commissioners do not operate in a vacuum. We are expected to adhere to the laws and guidelines from multiple sources: the city, the state of New York, and the U.S. Department of Interior. Commissioners must attend annual mandatory training in order to retain our seat. We are also very, very lucky to have great supporting staff. As to the issue at hand, I have a little bit of a timeline to share with you. Our intent is to assure the ZBA that the HLPC decision-making with regard to this application was careful and detailed. The DAR house is one of the most visible historic structures in the city, and we really wanted to get this right. So we begin on March 2021. HLPC learns that the DAR is considering replacing the house windows. So preemptively, staff reached out in the end of March and contacts DAR via email, gently reminding them that the property at 106, 112 Green Street is subject to review by HLPC for any proposed exterior changes or modifications. So then we go a year later, March 10th, 2022. DAR obtains a quote from Marvin Windows to replace all the windows at the house. HLPC understands the purchase of the Marvin windows took place prior to the submission of the first application. March 23, 2022. City again contacts DAR reiterating the structure's historic significance and that HLPC review is required prior to the commencement of work. Now we get to April 7th, 2022, HLPC meeting. Upon reviewing the DAR application, commissioners vote to table the project and requested the following supporting documentation: a physical sample of the proposed replacement windows and a written plan for the replacement window installation and information that supports their claim that the original windows are beyond repair. DAR indicated that they were waiting on a pending report from a preservation consultant as to the condition of the existing windows. We also requested a copy of the specs and the invoice for the replacement windows. May 28, 2022. Commissioners reviewed information provided by the State Historic Preservation Office staff who had reviewed the DAR application and supporting documentation and found these materials were insufficient and stated support for HLPC's request for a proper window conditions assessment. This preservation staff also advised retaining historic wood windows are preferred and should be preserved and repaired whenever possible. June 2, 2022 meeting, commissioners voted to table the project for the following reasons. Application is incomplete at this time. Applicant asked to provide the name and background of the historic professional they engaged and the status of the required final conditions assessment report and any supporting documents. In July of 2022, our next meeting, applicants requested that their application be withdrawn. So then DAR submits a second application, April 27th, 2023, right around there. That was in our meeting. DAR submits the following documents: Marvin window specs and invoice. However, the dollar amount has been whited out. Resume and window assessment report from H&J Farms Contracting, Mr. Harley Davis, and resume and window assessment report from Willem Cruz, painting and historic restoration contractor, and County Homes General Contracting. HLPC determined that both assessment reports were inadequate. Mr. Davis is also the installer hired by the DAR to remediate the existing lead and remove replace the windows. Mr. Cruz is a close business associate of Mr. Davis, with most of his historic experience involving house painting. No supporting materials such as keyed photos, comprehensive measured drawings were included with their reports, as we generally see included with most professional assessments. Both reports said generally that the windows were beyond repair. May 3rd, 2023, HLPC's Historic Preservation Administrator completes a partial external window conditions assessment, which is submitted for HLPC commissioners to review. This assessment did contain keyed photos and was shared with applicant. May 8th, 2023, staff attempts to coordinate a site visit with HLPC at DAR. No response. May 11th, 2023, staff again attempts to coordinate a site visit with HLPC at DAR. No response. July 10th, a site visit. Commissioners observed windows to be in relatively good condition and restorable. Primary issues appeared to be the windows were painted shut. August 8th, 2023, Commission votes to deny DAR's application to replace existing windows because they were deemed by the Commission as restorable, and whenever possible, restoration is the more appropriate treatment. December 27th, 2023, DAR files court action against City of Kingston. However, statute of limitations has already expired, rendering the case dismissed. Well, now we're a year later, December 12th, 2024. Staff meets with DAR counsel to discuss resubmitting an application for their window project. February 2025, DAR submits a new application, which is basically the same as the first application. February 6th, 2025, Commission requests an update on the current conditions as there are 2 years between the application and the prior application. Photographs were requested. DAR states they will not provide additional photos. Commissioners continue to express, as they have at each meeting with DAR, a desire that every attempt must be made to retain some form of the historic fabric of the structure, and that the windows are a substantial character-defining feature of the house. Commissioners attempted to reach a compromise. Let's replace the worst of the windows and restore some of those in better condition. DAR declined. DAR maintained that the replacement windows were exact replicas of the existing windows and remained indifferent to restoration despite hearing from preservation specialists that the windows are restorable. DAR continues to argue that the current historic windows date circa early 1900s, when actual historic documentation maintains the windows to be late 18th century. DAR continues to maintain that the property is not designated historic, even though it is within the Kingston Stockade local, state, and national historic district, and was individually landmarked by this city's HLPC in 1969. Knowledge of this prestigious honor was conveyed in writing to DAR by former HLPC Chair Fred Johnston. A Kingston HLPC plaque is also affixed to the right side of the building's primary entrance. Regarding the state and national register, the DAR misunderstood that a building that contributes to a state national historic district has the same level and type of designation as if it was individually listed. This information was provided via email to DAR representatives on April 20th, 2022. So at that meeting, the application was tabled until a second site visit could be scheduled. So February 19th, 2025, site visit scheduled. Boy, was that cold. And included the attendance of HLPC's retained professional historic wood window preservationists to observe the condition of the windows and to later prepare a written report. The report has been made available to the ZBA and concludes that the historic windows are repairable. April 3, 2025, commissioners apply local, state, and national guidelines and laws, find the DAR's application incomplete and non-compliant, and denies the application. May 1st, 2025, commissioners deny JA's hardship application on the grounds that the hardship was self-inflicted. That's what the certificate of appropriateness denial. The HLPC articulated its decision according to the local landmarks code. The HLPC also provided the DAR in this denial information on several substantial grant opportunities, including funds available from the National Society of the DAR in Washington, D.C., which would enable them to fund the restoration of the windows. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. All right. In interest of time, I'm going to ask that any other speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes. And also, if you have already submitted written comments, please don't reiterate those written comments here. We have them. We've read them, and I've spent a lot of time reading these letters the last couple of days. So our next speaker is Sarah Mike. Okay, well, Marissa is next anyway.
So I have a video, this community meeting, 1 minute video, 5 minutes, and so we'll just combine her.
How is that, are you planning on?
I submitted a link to Amy Peterson.
Oh, okay. Is that a thing that we can do?
No, he said, I'm gonna do the second guy here. We can do it. It's all about it.
Yeah.
Share screen.
Is that, I don't see any videos. It's true. Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be from both Sarah.
Yeah.
Also, please go ahead and the email that this link came to, could you add that to the, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that, I'm not sure if it was in her email or not.
Okay.
I don't know. Is there volume? Yes. Carry. I don't know if this is gonna.
Yes.
Nope, it's gonna,
During the Revolutionary War, it changed.
how come it's not working? It's working.
Just.
Marissa, did this come from you? This come from me?
Yeah.
Okay. There's some people who have multiple, I don't know, maybe I just missed it. I want to see if the link is in.
I don't know if I did it, if I did hers or not. I thought I did. There were. Something's volume. Yeah, it's tiny, but turn up. I got to turn up volume. Yeah.
Speaker. Her microphone is going to be on, but.
You know, I was looking at it.
The phone is in the corner.
Getting somebody, he's not, it's.
So do you want to have someone else? People there. Figure out.
Yeah.
I'm muting this one.
if you could refrain. Unless you have something significant to add and keep it very short. Okay. Please, all right, Nancy Risley.
That's me. I'm behind you.
Okay.
You want me up?
Yes,
Oh, goody.
please, 3 minutes or less.
Oh, yeah, I'll talk fast.
Thank you.
I'm here to give you a little bit of the history of the neighborhood.
Okay.
My name is Nancy Risley, and I live at 111 Green Street, known as the Lucas Elmendorf Mansion, across the street from the DAR house. Hi. I have owned my house together with my husband, Richard Risley, for approximately 50 years. During this time, I have observed my neighborhood, which 50 years ago resembled a virtual slum. Daily, I picked up handfuls of litter consisting of food wrappers, beer bottles, soda cans, used condoms, and hypodermic needles, to mention a few. Most of these items disappeared when the Herzog family announced their plan for the Kingstonian project. Almost immediately, the neighbors and residents of Green Street took notice of how nice the neighborhood could and should look. My house is kept up because every morning I still patrol my house and the street across between me and the DAR for litter, which occasionally appears. I am telling you all of this because I am more concerned about the litter problem than I am with what my neighbors are doing with their properties. For example, my husband and I are not complainers. We are supremely grateful for any improvements to the buildings on Green Street, considering the high taxes that we pay and the cost and expense of upkeep. For example, and this is a good one, we did not complain when the warehouse next door to us was painted orange and green. We were just glad that it was newly painted. This brings me to the instant application currently before the board. Personally, I am thrilled that the nice DAR ladies want to replace their windows. I am all for it. I can't wait for this project of theirs to go forward and for this to happen. I think that the fervent opposition to the project and the hugely delayed application of the Friends of Historic Kingston to intervene in this mess constitutes a total lack of sophisticated thinking and should be trashed. It is high time that common sense, hold on, I got a pen and page, I'm trying to keep within my 3 minutes. It is high time that common sense, hold on. I'm almost on my last paragraph. Should prevail. To be blunt, some horse sense, also known as practical tobacco juice sense, which is several levels above common sense, should prevail. The DAR application should be granted immediately with no further delays, if not sooner. This nonsense has gone on long enough and should stop. In closing, I leave the board with this thought. A kinder, gentler treatment of our neighbors on Green Street should be encouraged and enforced to the benefit of all concerned. Please grant the application of the DAR in full and end this charade once and for all. One last thought. A picture is worth 1,000 words. If any of you have not inspected the facade of the DAR house, you should know that allowing them to put their new windows in this building will make a huge difference in the neighborhood and, in my view, from across the street. That's it.
Andrea Putes.
My name is Andrew Putes. I'm the architect for the HLPC. I'm here tonight to show that I'm still here and I'm still following what's happening with the DAR building. I spoke at the July meeting to request to re-review the hardship application, so I won't repeat myself. My notes are already part of the record, but I wish to simply urge the ZBA again to dive deep into the facts of what has been presented, the legwork that the HLPC has done to try and fully understand the intent of the applicants. What the HLPC reviewed is not a simple window replacement request. It is far more complex than that. An insert window is not at all a replacement in kind of historical material. Thank you.
Thank you. Emily Mayer.
Hi, my name is Emily Major. I am the owner and operator of West County Preservation. And winter restoration is what I do every day. When this process started, I kept running into people from Kingston who would say to me, "Oh, have you heard of the DAR? I know the DAR house, they're supposed to be calling you. They should be calling you." And I didn't hear anything. I thought it was kind of weird. Until a couple of years later, when I got a call from a gentleman who identified himself as the caretaker of the property. And he asked me if I would write a letter on my letterhead saying that the windows were beyond repair. And I said, no, I haven't seen your windows, but in my experience, which is pretty vast, I've never seen a window that could not be repaired, because the thing about historic windows is they're infinitely repairable, right? If you have squirrels get into your house and they chew on your muntins, which are the little bars in the window, you can remake those pieces, right? You pop out the glass, you make a new piece, you put it in. With modern double glazed windows, you can't do that, right? Like once a double glazed pane is shot, it's done and you have to replace the window again, right? So the average lifespan of a replacement window or a double glazed window is about 12 to 14 years. So in terms of efficiency, studies have shown that a single glazed pane, a single glazed sash with a properly fitted storm window, be that exterior or interior, which is what a lot of historic properties like to do. They do an interior storm so that the facade isn't altered at all, is as good, if not better, than a replacement window, and certainly an insert. Because if you think about an insert, you've got a rectangle that you're trying to shove into an opening, which has over, 100 years, 200 years or more, become a parallelogram of sorts, right? So you're never going to get the same fit as you would when I take out old sashes. They have moved slowly over time as the house has moved, right? So the jamb and the sashes are doing the same thing, right? So I've restored windows as old as 1706. So this is not the idea that anything is not repairable is bunk, but also that there is any efficiency to taking out windows that could be fixed, replacing them with something that will need to be replaced again. It's not cost effective in any way. Also, when we say that replica windows or replacement windows can replicate what is historic, you can't, because of the size of the reveal. The muntins have to be so much thicker. So anyway,
Thank you.
when I said I wouldn't write the letter, the gentleman asked me if I could recommend a man who would, and I said that any preservationist worth their weight in salt would not do that.
Thank you so much. Rick. Rick Coxis, is that what that says?
Oh, that was.
That was right. I haven't checked the applicant. I'm not sure why it's in the written. Harry Judge.
I'll be brief.
Thank you.
Okay. These are the outside face of the bottom rail of historic windows. Shocked, you say? No, you cut them off. You laminate new material off. I got off to the wrong foot here. The first thing I wanted to say was thank all of you. You're overworked and underpaid, and I get that. I would encourage all of you to get on the Department of Interior's website and read the criteria of historic preservation and restoration. There's not a window that can't be saved. Okay. And with all due respect, okay, I'm not a general contractor, I'm a window restorer. Okay. They're not the same. Digging a Marvin window into an existing jam, it's not the same. And nobody can tell you truthfully that it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Lucas Denton. No.
I wanted to comment on some of the things that were said by the attorney representing the Daughters of American Revolution. First of all, I'm a homeowner in the city of Kingston, on South Wall Street. I frequently walk by this building. And it does have significant character. In his first point, the attorney mentioned that the windows would be exact replicas. Replicas are not the same thing as a restoration. That would be to remove historic material which exists, replace it with something that is not. Just to be very specific. On the second point, referencing the character of the neighboring structures, he also brought up efficiency, and I think it has been made sufficiently clear by other speakers that efficiency would in fact be lessened by replacing the windows, unless we're talking about heat, but I can't say that I've ever seen in passing anybody come in or out of that building outside of when there are specific events, which are rare. So the climatic savings that would be achieved by replacing them with these Marvin windows seems insignificant. And as the aesthetics of the historic, point 3, the aesthetics of the historic window and the exterior features, he did make 2 comments which kind of contradicted themselves. One's noting the nature of the area has changed radically and saying that that makes it less significant what the windows look like, but then also saying that the replacement windows would be in keeping with the aesthetic of the neighborhood. That's just inconsistent, doesn't make any sense. On the 5th point, it is manifestly clear that the Daughters of the American Revolution did not do their due diligence in approaching the historical preservation entities which exist and are responsible for determining whether changes to the facade are in keeping with the code. This is just obvious. It's patently obvious. I'm a resident of Kingston. I pay an insane amount of taxes to live in this city. And part of why I love living here is because of its historic character. My 13 times great-grandfather was William Bradford of the Plymouth Colony. American history matters a great deal to me. Living in Kingston is a source of joy for me every day. And every time I walk uptown and I pass these buildings, I see the nuances. I see the fact that the buildings aren't exactly straight because they've been here for hundreds of years. Preserving those nuances. I walk by there with my daughter frequently. I'm going to Old Dutch as soon as I get done talking tonight for something. So to me, it's very important that our municipal bodies do their jobs, that we respect the decisions of the people that we vote for as our representatives and as our trusted servants, and that I'm not a big fan of laws generally, but the ones that do exist to preserve the integrity of American history, to me, are vitally important. And I know that that is also the case for many people who couldn't make it here tonight and share these sentiments. That's it.
Thank you. Selena Goodell?
That's it. I'm the regent of Wilton Chapter of Daughters of the American Revolution. In the fall of 2021, we had the windows evaluated by several people in the area. One of the evaluations was done by Harley Davis of H&J Farms Contracting, who is a certified installer of Marvin windows. He measured each and every window multiple times. Both Whitwick DAR and Mr. Davis referred to the brochure entitled Preservation Guidelines, Kingston, New York, which is found on the HLPC webpage. On page 4 of this brochure, a paragraph titled, What Needs to Be Reviewed states, quote, if you are simply repairing or replacing something with the same material that is currently on your building, or repainting in exactly the same color, no review is required, end quote. In the following paragraph, also on page 4, titled, What Does Not Need to Be Reviewed, bullet point number 4 lists, quote, and other exterior features in the same material, end quote. The replacement windows were then ordered in early 2022 and are Marvin's ultimate wood and double hung style. We received an email from Ms. Cahill on March 23rd, 2022, after purchasing the new windows, and then submitted applications to the HLPC and the Heritage Area Commission. They were ultimately denied. In July 2025, the meeting of the ZBA where the HLPC and their supporters presented to the ZBA was not in compliance with public meeting rules, as Wilwick VAR was not offered any opportunity to attend this meeting and present any rebuttals. How can anyone say this building has historic windows when there is no definition in the city code of what a historic window is? To the members of the ZBA, Wentworth Chapter NSDAR has gone above and beyond in attempting to accommodate the requests of the HLPC and follow city code. We have gone to great lengths and expense to appease the city and HLPC. It is now in your hands to reaffirm that your June 2025 decision to allow Wentworth Chapter to install the windows that we purchased for 4 years ago. Thank you.
Daniel Cantor.
Hi again. My name is Daniel Cantor. I am a Kingston resident. I live on Clinton Avenue and former board chair of the Kingston City Land Bank, where we restore single-family homes in the city of Kingston. Regardless of where we did that work within the city, we tried to maintain pretty strict historic standards just for ourselves. That led us to winning an Excellence in Historic Preservation Award, statewide award from the State Historic Preservation Office. So I know there's no real definition of an expert, but I think it's up there. I'm here because frankly, I just can't believe that we're still talking about this. It seems incredibly clear that the DAR knew what they were doing. They thought they could get away with it. They were their words, we've heard the story. But it's pretty obvious that they knew that they were skirting around a local process that exists for a reason. And people like me who are not lucky enough, sadly, to live in a historic district for how the city has defined it, are pretty offended by those that have a building that they do not pay taxes on, seemingly don't really use, and now are intent on ruining for future generations. So I would like to just discuss windows for a second, because you call them exact replicas. I think we know by now they're very clearly not exact replicas. To make an exact replica, you would need to build a wood window. What these are double pane windows. So when you talk about individual panes of glass, that's also incorrect. There are 2 pieces of glass that are spaced.
You have to adjust the board and not one in the public.
Sorry, I'll adjust the board. When there are claims that a new window has all these individual pieces of glass and therefore it's just the same, that's just simply not true. It's 2 pieces of glass with some space bars laminated in between. As an approximation, it's okay. From a distance, it's okay. The bigger issue with those windows is that there's an air gap in between that needs to be sealed over time. Once that seal breaks, the window is done. It is not repairable. It is only replaceable. So any idea that there's a energy savings argument to be made here is patently absurd, because these windows will last, like Emily said, 12 to 14 years. Well, more optimistic. Let's give them 20. In 20 years at the latest, they'll go to a landfill. All of the energy, the embodied carbon, we call it, that went into making those windows is now removed. And it all has to be done all over again. So the idea that there's like an environmental benefit here, clearly false. The idea that they are exact or even close replicas, clearly false. The idea that they don't change the historic appearance, clearly false. A speaker directly before me brought up that they should be of the same material. So Marvin says Marvin Ultimate is a wood interior window. The exterior is aluminum clad, so which, by the way, is another place for water to infiltrate and rot the windows. But they are not remotely the same materials. So in closing, I guess I would say, $60,000 on Marvin Windows. It was brought up previously, seemingly to demonstrate some kind of commitment or quality or something. Frankly, what it really demonstrates is recklessness and willful ignorance of both this process and the value of the historic components of their building. So I do agree that there is high time that common sense prevails.
Thank you.
Which is why we should restore what we have and not ruin it forever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Olivia Brizzi.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to give testimony. I would just like to second a lot of the points that Emily and Daniel just made. I'm a resident of Red Hook. I have owned a historic home in the past. I'm a preservationist. Marvin does not make replica windows. It's not possible. IGU's insulated glazing units do fail after about 20 years. So exactly what Daniel said, the DAR would be looking at replacing their windows all over again in a very short amount of time. Historic wood windows are typically constructed with old growth wood, which lasts a lot longer than any kind of lumber you could buy off the shelf today. It's interesting and kind of surprising that they assumed that they were kind of falling into the category of regular maintenance when they set about to, rip out all of their historic windows and put in something that is not the same. That's an interesting interpretation of minor repairs and in-kind repairs. It just doesn't compute. And I would also say, right, typically new windows that you buy, it's instructive to look at the warranty that they have. Even higher end windows that would cost more than like $2,000 a unit, which is low for a multi-pane double hung. What the warranty would be like 10 years. So, and they're not repairable. So, I mean, this is a problem of their own making and also shows a lack of respect for local process. So I would urge the board to deny it again.
Thank you. All right, I don't have anyone else on the list. Is there anyone else here that wants to speak to this? Well, you represent an applicant, so you get to stay. But no, anyone else, member of the public? If things like this, that video I didn't see in the archive that we have. So just in case anything got missed, I would like to give the community an opportunity to send us. My feeling is we're going to deliberate for a while, but we're not going to make a decision on this tonight. I think maybe give us 40 minutes or something like that to chat about it, and then table it for next time. I'd like to give the members of the public until close of business tomorrow to submit any other written comments, and then we will close the hearing. So if the board is okay with that, does anybody have an objection to?
So you're
I would
moving
make
this to close the public hearing, the in-person public hearing now.
Yes.
The time frame for submitting last minute written
comments
till tomorrow.
That is my thought. Does anybody have any thoughts or feelings about that? Yeah, it's reasonable. All right, so Amy, when are you done? 5?
4:30.
4:30, all right. So
I get things at 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Well, I mean, yeah, so let's I look for a motion to close the public hearing to written comment as of 4:30 tomorrow, the 14th. Yeah.
So again, just to clarify, you're closing the in-person
hearing now.
Leaving comments open until 4:30 tomorrow for
written comments. Yes. So that's we're gonna say 4:30.
I know she's at the second.
And Carl, Colin, you seconded?
You made the motion? Sorry, Dan.
Thanks. And.
Carl seconded.
Yeah, Colin seconded,
Okay.
yeah. All in favor? Carries, all right. Okay, so let's get into deliberation. If we have any other questions for the applicant, the representative is here and certainly discuss with him.
Yeah, right. Everyone's got an opportunity. There is a lot of submissions. You guys all have an opportunity to at least read through those submissions. Okay.
The law,
So,
yeah, this is a pretty, it's a lot of stuff here. Which is, I mean, I think the reason why we're here is because we didn't get all of this information last time, and,
we have
totally.
that's fine. Yeah.
So, anybody's first initial thoughts? Let's,
You can sleep in the middle of it.
Mr. Chairman, can I do a quick rebuttal of some of the- So, you know, I think my clients certainly admire the opposition's points, but from a legal perspective, there's no authority in this code to force them to restore the windows. No case that says that the board has the power to do that.
As the, if you want to try to cite some case law and send that to us, yeah,
Well, so
until 4:30 tomorrow to do that.
All right.
But I've done my own research in that very much shows that that statement is not true.
Well,
So.
If, what I'm saying is, if this property was individually listed on the federal register, then that's a different story. Or if it's listed individually on the state register, that's a different situation. But being in the landmark district, it's not, it does not equal.
I mean, in my reading of Judge Graff's statement would say the opposite of that.
Well,
so-
I would urge you, I mean,
Yeah.
you can meet with your attorney. I think it's important for you to
For
meet
sure.
with your attorney and hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason
Yeah.
why the Corporation Council did not defend this case.
Sure, and that's Barbara's choice. That's not up for us to debate. But,
Well, I do have in my
our
comments,
understanding is that, you know, we are here to do the work of the HLPC because that's the way that our code is written, unfortunately. You know, I don't think we should be here doing this at all, but, you know, we are because we have. You know?
Look, I want to make it very simple. We're going to make a decision that you guys have the power to make them restore these windows, and we'll go right to Judge Graff, because that's, I'm telling you right now, you do not have that power.
And you are.
It's not, let's, if there's any additional comments just regarding the application.
Yeah.
If you want to make them to the board, make them, but then the board will look at the statute, look at the submissions, apply the relevant statutory criteria based on the information that's before them. And make that decision based on their honest interpretation, regardless of public opinion, regardless of what judges are going to say, regardless on what basically how they look at the submissions that are before them, apply it to the statutes.
If you want to make an argument, like, you know, you have until 4:30 tomorrow to send the letter in, so.
I mean, there are 5 factors.
Yeah. Oh, we are well versed.
Only 5.
Okay, on to discussion of the matter. Initial thoughts from anyone?
don't else you go once.
I mean,
So I appreciate great amount of information that was shared by the public. I appreciate the incredible amount of reading I got to do. They thought up on that. But I do think probably where we should start first is framing this, because I think a lot of things were mentioned that even, in our initial ruling, we had kind of taken out of consideration, right? We ruled that there's no hardship, right? Or hardship is energy efficiency of the wind. That's not a question, right? That doesn't. So, I think framing, ultimately what our decision is made on is probably where we should, first start. And, it seems that would be first and foremost, this kind of contention that was brought up, if the HLPC has the ability or authority to, require refurbishment or rehabilitation of windows. I believe it ultimately does. But we can discuss that. And then ultimately, if they made the right judgment as it comes to us. That's my understanding of what we're considering. I just want to put that out there in very clear terms to make sure that's what the board understands.
I entirely agree with that. Our job right now is to review this application under, what is it, 40526 L10, 10B, which is, it, lists, as Mr. Baker said, the list of 5 criteria that the HLPC shall consider. And I think we need to look the whole under each one of those individual factors. So anybody else have some initial thoughts, or maybe we can just kind of start going through any of these things and cite and stuff. And if any, as we're reviewing stuff, I made a bunch of notes and things citing different stuff, and I'd like to make sure that we bring those things up as we make whatever final determination that we have, that we cite, what information is leading us to that, that decision. See you guys flipping through pages over there. Is there,
does everyone have copies of the relevant statute?
Yeah. So it's, I can read off the criteria or
that'd be great.
Yeah. And I actually might have 2 copies of this, so I think I printed 2 because I want to confirm with sometimes what's, as we run into, like what's on both is not, has in the past not been exactly the same thing. But all right, so this can be this section here. So that's the 5 things.
And you also want to review the subsection K10, which is about rehearing and power guard first modify all the decision in order, so you do have to be referencing the original when you are discussing your action here. If you are taking action, you'll be doing all.
So I guess we need clarification in that. If that is exactly what we're doing, then it is which specific order, because there are a few, there are, I have it here somewhere, the determination from the HLPC.
Well, that's ultimately what this comes down to. So you annul basically the previous decision of the ZBA granted the appeal.
Yes.
So right now you want to rehear, and basically you have the power. The wording is the zoning board may reverse, modify, or annul its original order decision or determination. So basically that's, you guys already made a decision, granted the appeal of that.
Yes.
So now you should be, in any decision you're making here, referencing both the
But we're specifically talking about the April 3rd, 2025 decision by the HLPC.
well, you only know that. They made their decision.
Yeah.
You're annulling your free.
July, okay, yes.
So obviously, there.
That's the clarification.
She references the both.
Yeah.
The certificate of appropriateness as well as the decision that's right now, you know, we're hearing. To. Fine.
Yeah.
So there's, need to have a reason for why we're not like.
Well, we
If we were-
need to make a record of.
Record of it,
what-
yeah.
where it goes.
Yeah.
If-
Yeah. I don't think I have a printed version of our, that's a June. I have all the notes, but I don't actually think I have the actual final,
Resolution, I have to determination. And you vote yes to approve it.
But doesn't approve this resolution, I believe the resolution says denying.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So sometimes it's, you always vote in an affirmative, so like you can approve, you can vote like unanimously to deny it. Yeah, you approve the denial.
You vote for approval.
Yeah.
June 12th.
Yeah. Yeah, is this is the copy of it? Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, we already denied the hardship, so
Well,
we went through that and then we reverted back to the.
Well, you guys would have to look at interpretation or.
Yes.
Under the statute, as it was previously written, the subsection for appeals referred to the preservation notices of action. Then when they modified it, changing the preservation notices of action to certificates of appropriateness. They also changed subsections, so the appeals subsection that is referenced in our current code. Would have been the appeals subsection, the original form-based code, but is now actually a subsection pertaining to something completely irrelevant, changed enforcement, building department. So that's where the interpretation question came. That was addressed in the previous decision prior to then applying the criteria.
This.
Do you guys want Wayne's reading that? Does anyone else have any general comments or looking at the criteria that for a certificate of appropriateness that you guys are addressing? You guys need time to.
I need number.
absorb.
One is in regards to destroying or affecting the exterior features of the landmark district upon which stories be done. I know there was a lot of back and forth about what the definition of historic windows are. I'm not sure if that's relevant, but HLPC founded in 1966, designated this building in 1969 landmark. I would say that would deem the windows historic. I don't think a written definition is relevant here. If the body is designating the building as a historic landmark, wouldn't every feature of that building then be considered historic? Or are we picking and choosing what features of the building are historic?
Yeah, I agree that that their designation of it historic therein of itself identifies as such. And the code and the interpretation from the judge seems to give HLPC that power.
The SHPL letters, NPS letters, the nominations. I think I have written down 2 nominations in 1975 and 2016. All just went through, no issue, so. I would say the windows are historically significant, in regards to that question. There's no documents claiming that they're not historic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, your decision should be based on what has been submitted,
Right.
all the written materials, the applications,
The application,
determinations.
as far as I can tell, some people, yeah, not disputing the significance of it.
Yeah. I think part of this is one of those things that's kind of gotten down to the specifics of like what the window is, like destroying or affecting the exterior features of the landmark, right? And if the window itself is considered like the historic feature, right? Then, there's this discussion about like replacing something in kind, right? And there's a lot of statements about like what a direct replacement is. And it seems that if you are restoring a window and there's rotted wood on it and you replace it with some other old growth, non-rotted wood, then you're replacing something in kind. If you are replacing something with a modern look-alike, is that a replacement? Right? Like, is that an exact replacement? And my feeling is that it really isn't an exact replacement. It might be, in a lot of cases, a suitable replacement, but it's certainly not like an exact or replacement kind. Based on a lot of the testimony that we've got, and also my own experience. Yeah.
On research I did too, no preservation story anywhere endorses aluminum clad.
Yeah, that's another thing that seemed to be very unclear, and one of the things actually.
We have
Yeah, well, like in some places here, it states that it's all wood, and some things it said that there was aluminum clad, so I'm actually not 100% sure what.
Is there any vinyl in the replacement windows?
No, for all wood construction.
I think the paper that said they were vinyl inside a wooden frame
We have this.
was from the
Yeah.
person that wrote the letter that does restorations.
So,
We should look at this.
yeah, I have that printed here somewhere. And I actually tried to look up some info off from, yeah, here it is. This is actually like the Marvin Wood document. I mean, there's actually a few things here that seemed unclear to me, and maybe you can even clarify, Mr. Jacob, that the even like the spacing of the what's pictured here is not the same as what's there. Like, is that even? And it doesn't, like the photos of the glass itself on the house. That's different.
This one?
Yeah, not all of them are like that, right? Some of them have.
Some of them are different.
Like, some
I've actually gone up there. It's hard to tell because some windows have wood storm
Yeah.
windows and some have aluminum storm windows.
Yeah.
And there is no trespassing sign, so I didn't know the fence, but
Well, it's black plastic bags.
all about law and order.
Some photos given as examples by other than DAR that are in the submissions are not our building. Just to clarify.
I'm sorry, repeat that again?
Some photos that given as examples of windows by other people, not DAR,
Yes.
are actual photos not of our building, but of other buildings. So,
Understandable.
but everywhere that there's like 6 of us
6 or 12 by 12, whatever, all the divided lights are the same.
I mean, one of the things that doesn't seem.
With my background, I don't believe it either side. I look at, you know, you can't believe either side because either side has their own viewpoint.
Right.
So,
I mean, if you take all those specs and go to the house, you can look and
Yep.
match each one. They're not consistent all the way around.
You know, one of the things to talk about like exact replacement, right? And there doesn't seem to be anything here showing the measurements of the individual panes.
Like the reveal, or the reveal.
Or what the reveal is, yeah, so,
does it have overall size?
it has overall size, but that is, it's irrelevant to when.
Are they all the same size? No. Overall dimensions. How many different sizes are there?
Oh, there's a handful of different.
Okay, so it wasn't like they just said that one's gonna fit all the windows?
No. But even still, right, like if you're talking about, like this is a fully independently, I'm assuming based on this, that these are fully independently operating sash replacement windows, right? Like if this window is sitting on the ground, you can move the sashes up and down, it is its own thing.
Yes.
So by that definition alone, it is clearly not an exact replacement window. Like,
Because they're.
I think, you know, just as a clarification. Obviously, when I talk about exact replicas, we're talking about from the exterior feature. And it's for.
no, wait,
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I just want to make that clear.
yeah, you know.
Because that's
They are,
really what this
it's, you know, very clear that they, are designed to look very similar and exact. Are not the same thing. All right, but, yeah.
I think to keep in mind too, is the HLPC has authority, I'll say, over how they appear from the sidewalk or the street, not from walking right up to the front, standing in the flower.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, that may be a different thing to discuss, but. Yeah.
So tomorrow by 4:30.
Yeah.
Any final submissions will be sent in.
Yes.
I highly recommend, if you guys don't already have it on, I can send it to you. Basically, the section of the statute procedure for certificate of appropriateness. Between now and the next meeting, you guys should be going through that criteria. And, you know, whatever you're relying upon, lots of documents that have been submitted that address the different criteria. So then that way, hopefully you guys all have something written that can be, and I would say email to me as well, so I can start drafting, potential drafts for determining way or another, based on, your review of the submissions and applying those submissions to the criteria.
Well, we're gonna have to do that.
Oh, yeah, but you'll come prepared.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want, I can read through again the criteria. Just
I think
time.
But
it sounds like there's a lot of information that has been brought to you very recently. A lot of these submissions were just this week. A lot of reading, a lot of speakers, video. Definitely.
So, I mean, this is a little bit of a different way of doing it, but and we'll see how this works, just because of the depth of information that we have. Does everyone here expect to be at our next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe what we can do is we can individually review all this information and put together our own points for each of all the criteria that is in section 10B, those 5 points on how we see that. Also, we can take a few minutes to review. I don't think our last determination, I didn't see it there, but we can maybe make sure that's there, that our April No, that's not.
No.
July 10th, I think.
June.
June. Yes, June 10th, yeah, 12th, whatever it was, yeah. So we can, there's a couple of, in the final whereas, there's a number of things that we discussed last time. We have 5 points there, and we come up with why your thoughts either support or reject whatever we came up with last time. And then we can kind of give a 5-minute pitch and then collaborate all of our ideas in discussion next session. That might give us some time.
I don't know if it's been submitted, but they talked about the criteria of the national Department of Interior criteria, types of references you may want to use well. That way you can, if you're not relying directly on submissions, and some of those other authorities lines of credit.
Even correct me if I'm wrong, but even after a public hearing is closed, like widely available public information, we can still reference.
You can reference public information, but the board not accepting public comment after
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yeah. But if any board member
already has more information, than probably the other 10 most applications put together.
But if any of us individually want to find some reference, we can do that.
And discuss them as potential authorities, which are relevant to what you're considering.
How's that feel to everybody? Like, you want to do some homework and then we'll make some presentations to each other next month and put it all together in one thing in that moment? Yeah. We can deliberate
that the clerk has previous as well as the original HLTC decision, your previous decision. And I'll just kind of paste the specific section for the criteria so that it's just, in one page and you kind of use that as a reference. And then go through all the other submissions this one.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, there's a lot to consider too. It's insane. All right, that feels good for everybody.
I mean, we need time to.
Totally. I've already reviewed a lot, but it's like I haven't actually put it together in a way to like pitch it to everybody.
So we're taking submissions until 4:30 tomorrow.
Yes.
Can those be on the website under December? So because
they need to be
right
provided to you guys, and
but just so
upload it all.
We're a lot of it.
My question, because I don't know in which order they upload. I don't want to get confused with what
that is actually true.
But they go to the bottom or the top of this huge upload list.
So, do you want me to upload it to the December?
Well, first, I think regardless, you just send it out, email it to them, so that they get it way before anything else and they can start because they have a lot of information to sift through.
Okay.
Yeah, can we just make a separate thing like the planning board does just for this application, where that has everything for this application in it?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the planning board does whenever something goes for more than a month. Yeah. You'll figure that somebody's gonna figure that out. Well, no matter what, so one way or another, Amy's gonna email it to, if there's anything new that comes in tomorrow, Amy's gonna email it to us. and we'll figure out how it's gonna be on the website, but within the week, it will be on the website.
Yes.
Yeah,
But we'll have it tomorrow.
we will have it after, well, I guess Monday,
Maybe Monday.
Monday morning.
Okay.
She'll send it out. Everybody has until the end of the day tomorrow, and then she'll send it all out Monday.
Okay. Understood. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, with that, I'll look for a motion to table, where's my agenda? No, the one that I write everything on. Everything. It's under here it is. Motion to table until next month.
Motion to table next month.
I'll second that. Okay, Colin? Yeah.
Make the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
How about to get out of here? Motion to adjourn?
I'll take credit.
All right, who's seconding? All right. It is 8 PM this month. Oh, I was there. 8 PM.
Make sure everyone note down. All right, like you guys. And yeah. 80%. I guess I can like you. Watch files. There's something here.
Maybe a hearing.
We'll have other guys. Like the other language or English, you guys have just basically be able to determination. Yeah, you're not being, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's baseball.